Hey, I'm Bruce Cook. I'm just making a fun little shooting video comparing the speed of 3 different loaders. I'm going to be, as usual, using my Bob Long Vis just to see how fast these 3 loaders that I have will feed this marker. I do have this marker. Most of the settings are what I use actually when I'm playing. I didn't adjust them to get faster rates of fire because usually when I do that I get a lot of broken paint. But the settings on this marker and the settings, the adjustable settings on some of the other loaders I'm going to feature will also influence the how fast this marker can shoot with these loaders on them. And I do gotta say beforehand, these results will vary from person to person. Some people will use the same loaders and get different results on their markers, even if they're using the same marker that I am. So I just wanted to point that out. But firstly, the marker, I have the dwell at 9, the LPR at 65, and I do have the bolt delay at 15 and the BD delay, which is like a bounce detector, also at 15. These are ideal for when I'm playing. Minimizes paint breaking better than previous settings that I've had, or other recommended settings. That was just the ideal settings that I found after using this for so long. So that's what I have this set to. Then the loaders, as you know, the TFX loaders is just one setting. You turn the marker on, or turn the loader on, and it's just one speed setting. So we'll find out how fast that can feed paintballs into my marker. The Empire Halo 2, that's a second loader that I'm using. If you're familiar with these, you know these have 3 adjustable settings on it. You have the speed, the microphone setting, which adjusts the sensitivity of the microphone when your marker is shooting, responds to sound, and also the tension monitor. So I also have a magnet clutch kit in this thing, which will also influence how fast this thing is loading. They may be a little slower than the regular drive cone and everything that comes stock in these Halo 2s. I have the magnet clutch kit in here just to make it more gentle on fragile paint, which this does a very good job, even on the most fragile paints I've used this in. I do have the speed and the sound sensitivity all the way up on this, and the tension monitor I always run with the setting off. Since I'm using a magnet clutch kit, I don't have to worry about that. So we'll find out how fast this is going, and also the die rotor R2. So now I have to point out that since I had taken the gearbox apart on this and put a new board and a new motor in this, I don't know if it was me or if it was just the loader, the way things work in this thing, but the feed rate isn't quite as fast as a lot of rotors that we're used to using. So I think the fastest that I've got this thing to go since I changed the board and motor is probably like close to like 12-13 a second, which it's kind of weird because these loaders are supposed to be capable of spinning out 40 to 45 paintballs a second. And like in my ion shooting video, or a couple of them I put out, this thing had no problem feeding 18 balls a second, eyes off, without a single ball popping. And I've actually, on a game I played with other people who were all using unlimited, it was going well past 20. And I'm very familiar with 20 balls per second. But it sounds like since I've been playing, since the days we were using uncapped semi-auto and shooting really fast at each other, this thing, I would have to guess that this was feeding my ion up to 22 a second. I mean, that was a blistering fast marker. And this thing was feeding it, but now it's, on average, seems like it's 12-13 a second, but we'll find out what happens. I have a Crown SF2 on here. It's just the frame to the speed feed. I have it fixed onto this loader. I don't have fingers in it because I'm currently trying to sell the Virtue Spire IR/3 and 4 speed feed, so I had to take the fingers out of this and put it in the speed feed I'm selling. So I'm going to be just dumping a couple pods through this, and do know that when the loaders are completely full, a lot of these loaders will feed a little slower right off the bat, so the rate of fire should increase as the loaders draining. So, but here you go. Here's the TFX3. This is a PSP 3-shot and uncapped ramping. We'll see what happens. And I'm gonna be obviously I'm gonna be shooting at that little filing cabinet with that yellow mat. So here we go. Oh, and the paint that I'm using is just a mix between GI Field paint, which is equivalent to like 2-star, and there's some like Vulcan 2-star level paint. It's actually pretty fast. I really didn't think this TFX3 was going to shoot that fast. I know it can keep up for 15 a second, but if I had to guess, this thing might have been peaking around like 16 or something like that. Oh, alright, let's shut that off. I'm screwing around with my marker too much. Alright, take that off. Next up will be the Empire Halo 2. As I said, I got all these settings maxed out on this. So we'll see what this thing does. Make sure this is good. That was definitely a bit faster and more consistent. There we go. If I had to guess, that probably is peaking at 17 or 18, consistently around 15. That was pretty good. And last, definitely not least, is the good old Rotor R2. Get this thing filled up. No, I'll just pull this extender up. See what happens. Oh, great. My Bunker King pod lid just broke. That's nice. Good thing I keep a lot of pods at any given time, because I've been going through these pods quite a bit. Look at that. That thing held a whole couple pods. Alright, we'll see what happens. Alright. Kind of like a good 12 right there. Alright, let's get a little closer. Maybe you see. Pretty good. Alright. Yeah, see, that's, as I mentioned, that's really weird, because this thing, like when it had the old crusty motor in this thing and the old board in it, when it wasn't functioning properly, this thing was had no problem feeding some of my markers over 20 balls a second. But for some reason, when I put a new board and motor in this thing, it's if I had to guess, that was probably like 12 a second right there, maybe 12 and a half. More than enough, you know, for the gameplay that I'm used to, which is usually capped at 10.5. Sometimes at our field, if it's all players using electronic markers, we don't have new players using Reynolds. You know, we'll go all out, and I usually let everybody use whatever firing mode, whatever rate of fire they want. I leave it up to the group, and then if I get to join in to play with them, then I always run mine at semi-auto capped at 10.5, because I don't care to play with ramping unless it's going to be a tournament when I'm playing against other seasoned competitive players that know what they're doing. And if everybody's, if that's what the tournament rules are, that's what I use. But other than that, semi-auto 10.5. But there you go. There's the HK TFX3 versus the Halo 2 versus the Rotor R2. The Halo 2 performed the best on the speed test. The TFX3 was actually very close to it. I had no problem hitting 15 a second pretty consistently, and I think it was peaking at least a good 16 a second, a few shots with that loader dump, but the Halo 2 loader definitely excelled. So it was the best out of the three when it came to speed, but every single one of them would be ideal for most of the gameplay and tournaments we do these days. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time with some pepper eating videos.